Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is John Costanzo. I'm the police chief for the Village of Tuckahoe, John-Costanzo. I'm joined here this afternoon by the Honorable Greg Luisi, Mayor of the Village of Tuckahoe, and the Honorable Anthony Scarpino, District Attorney of Westchester County. Members of our staff are joining us as well. On Monday, August 12th, the Tuckahoe Police Department arrested a 47-year-old male on multiple criminal possession of weapons charges. The arrest resulted from an investigation into a report that the defendant made threats against his estranged wife and her family. The estranged wife is a Tuckahoe Village resident. The police were contacted by someone who heard the defendant say that he wanted to kill his wife and family, and the witness also believed this defendant to be armed. He contacted the Tuckahoe Police Department at approximately 8 p.m. Police responded, confronted the defendant, and the defendant was taken into custody without incident. This was at the Growler's Beer Bistro at 25 Main Street in the Village of Tuckahoe. The defendant was in possession of a loaded Glock semi-automatic handgun. The defendant is identified as Matthew J. Bonanno, date of birth March 27th, 1972. He resides at 240 East Shore Road, Great Neck, New York. A subsequent search of his vehicle led to the recovery of the following: 5 assault rifles fully loaded with high-capacity magazines, 3 handguns, 29 high-capacity loaded magazines, over 1,600 rounds of ammunition, stun gun, heavy ballistic body armor, ballistic helmet, handcuffs, full head cover face masks, multiple military-style knives, brass knuckles, pepper spray fogger, scopes, binoculars, and other paraphernalia. The Tuckahoe Police Department, working closely with the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, obtained search warrants for the defendant's known residence, one in the town of Mount Pleasant, one in Great Neck, New York. In Mount Pleasant, 3 additional unlicensed handguns were recovered. In the residence in Long Island, a large cache of weapons was also recovered, including assault rifles, shotgun, handguns, high-capacity magazines, body armor, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, smoke grenades, and other weapons. Those weapons were turned over to the Nassau County Police Department. The defendant was arraigned yesterday, August 13th, by Village Justice David O. Fuller. The defendant was remanded to the Westchester County Jail to await his next court appearance on August 20th, 2019. No bail was set. The Tuckahoe Police Department was assisted by the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, prosecutors, the Westchester Intelligence Center, the Mount Pleasant Police Department, the Westchester County Department of Public Safety, Real-Time Crime Center, and the Nassau County Police Department. I'm going to now ask our mayor, the Honorable Greg Luisi, to speak. We will be available to answer questions after the mayor and the district attorney speak.
Thank you, Chief. We've all heard that cliche, if you see something, say something. Well, we cannot overestimate or understate what that individual did that contacted the Tuckahoe Police Department. Obviously, this cache of weapons that was recovered was meant for some purpose other than probably harming his wife. So without that individual coming forward, this amount of weaponry would have been out on the streets, and Lord knows what would have happened. So my congratulations to our Tuckahoe Police Department for their work, the District Attorney's Office, and the municipality out in Long Island that also assisted in this arrest.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank you, Chief. Wonderful job. And Mayor Luisi. We're very happy to be part of this discussion today. I'd like to mention I have with me members of my gang, guns, and narcotics division headed by Willie Schaefer. We have Ms. Prisco and Mr. Ronco with us today, who will be involved in the prosecution of this case. We'd like to commend the Tuckahoe Police Department for acting swiftly and bringing this defendant into custody and getting these weapons secured. We can all breathe a little sigh of relief knowing that these weapons are out of the hands of someone who might cause harm to others or possibly himself. The magnitude of the weapons and other paraphernalia found is of great concern to us. We worked with the other jurisdictions. The District Attorney's Office wrote search warrants for the police to secure the weapons found in Great Neck, Long Island, as well as those in the Mount Pleasant jurisdiction. Our office will continue to work closely with the Tuckahoe Police, our other law enforcement organizations and partners, including our federal law enforcement partners, as well as the District Attorney's Office of Nassau County, as we continue this investigation. We will find out how these guns came into the defendant's possession, how they got to Westchester, and why he had such an unusual collection of weapons in the vehicle as well as at other locations. This is something that we all have to be very concerned about. It's similar to the extreme risk protection scenario that we've been pushing, and it's just recently been enacted, where we had a local citizen, someone who knew this individual, who heard things that concerned him, was aware he had access to weapons, and he actually saw the weapon, and he notified the police. So that individual really is the person that needs to be recognized for doing a wonderful job. The problem is, normally, is that you have noticed that they maybe have weapons, and then we would get an extreme risk protective order from a judge and go there and evaluate it, but this situation was different. We were aware that the weapon was in his possession or nearby, which led to the arrest because he was not authorized to have that weapon in New York, and the assault weapons clearly are not legal in New York. And so this case is going to be continuing right now. He is presently charged with several counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree and in the second degree. We anticipate additional charges being filed here, possibly as well out by the Nassau County District Attorney's Office. So I want to commend the Tuckahoe Police Department for acting swiftly because something unusual was occurring, and the individual at the time of his arrest appeared to be intoxicated. He appeared to be under a lot of stress, a state of crisis, and he had access to weapons that can do substantial injury. And we all don't have to think too far back as to what these types of weapons are and the type of damage they can do. Every day we're hearing about it, and we're very fortunate that this did not happen in this situation. So congratulations to Tuckahoe and their law enforcement officers, and our office is going to be continually investigating this.
Are there any questions?
Chief, what can you tell us about the suspect in terms of what he did for a living?
My understanding is that he's a physician.
A plastic surgeon?
I believe so.
Does he have a military background?
I'm not certain.
When you say assault rifles, are they weapons, long arms that would be illegal under New York law?
Yes, they are illegal under New York law, the ones that we recovered in Tuckahoe and the ones that were recovered in Nassau County as well.
And that's because of certain features on the guns?
That's correct.
Can you tick those off?
Can I defer to the expert?
I don't have a list here,
Okay.
but we had a scope on one of them.
Telescopic stock,
This is
just a grip, muzzle brake.
Come on up, Mr. Ronco, come on up.
I'm sorry.
It's Mr. Ronco from the District Attorney's Office.
The some of the assault rifles had the ability to accept a detachable magazine plus pistol grip, which by itself makes it an assault rifle. Plus, a number of them had telescopic butt stocks, muzzle brakes, and a number of other features. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Is there anything you can tell us about if he has a criminal background, and if so, what it could be?
The only previous arrest was for driving while intoxicated.
Can you characterize the nature of the threat that this, for lack of a better word, Good Samaritan or hero heard from the suspect?
The threat was that he was going to kill his wife and her family.
They're residents of this village?
Correct.
The threats were made at the bar?
The threats were made at the bar.
That's where they overheard?
Yes.
And did he mention the weapons during the threat? Or how did they get a...
The witness actually observed the defendant in possession of a handgun
at the bar?
at the bar.
How did the witness contact Tuckahoe Police?
He stepped outside and he made a phone call.
And where did you arrest Dr. Banana?
In the parking lot of 25 Main Street, which is Growler's Beer Bistro.
Did you arrange with the person who's, what arrangements were made to effectuate the arrest?
There really were no arrangements made. The officers arrived on the scene. The defendant, upon seeing the officers, stepped out into the parking lot and surrendered without any resistance.
And you had mentioned that the witness saw one gun. Did the witness also know about the other guns and all the ammunition?
I don't believe so.
So he just went on Instagram on one gun and he found it.
That's correct.
So the witness heard him say things and saw the gun that made him call the police?
I believe the witness observed this person with the handgun in his possession and heard him say that he wanted to cause harm to his family.
Did he have an order, was there an order of protection against him that expired?
I believe there was an order of protection several years ago, yes.
But it expired at the time?
It was expired.
What kind of vehicle was Banana in?
He was in a BMW SUV.
Was there any other credible threats that you made outside of the ones to his family? Anything relating to the hospital or anywhere else? I mean, that's a lot of...
Yeah, not they're aware of. We have collected a lot of electronics from both his residences and as well as on his person, and we will be doing a forensic analysis of those electronics.
What was his demeanor when officers approached him? What did he say?
They believed him to be intoxicated, however, it was calm and non-combative.
Was he escorted out of the bar, or he was left by himself?
He walked out by himself. He was not unruly in the bar or anything that would have caused him to be, thrown out of the bar.
So you just waited for him to come out and then arrested him?
It kind of happened simultaneously. As the officers arrived, he walked out into the parking lot.
Did he give any explanation as to why he had all those guns?
He invoked his right to counsel right away, and we really haven't had an opportunity to speak to him.
Will you do kind of reverse engineer all the purchases to find out?
This is a very ongoing investigation with the help of the District Attorney's Office Technical Unit as well as other means. We are actively pursuing what, if any, were his plans beyond the night of his arrest.
Do you know of any other past incidents in the village between the suspect and his wife, or the estranged wife? Any incidents that you remember responding to?
None come to mind.
Do you know how long he's been estranged from his wife?
I believe it's several years, but I don't have the exact number. Apparently, he and his estranged wife did have a relationship that was cordial.
Any kids?
I believe there's one child.
No other questions?
You mentioned the extreme risk protection. Could you describe that again? You said that's something you're pushing for?
Well, it's called Red Flag Law, ERPO. It extreme risk protection orders that were recently passed here in New York State, and it provides the opportunity for family members, school personnel, district attorney's office, law enforcement, when they believe a person is in crisis and has access to weapons, to interview that individual, try to separate that individual in crisis, if they believe so, from those weapons temporarily. Then they're entitled to a hearing within 6 days, and it's going into effect within 2 weeks or so. So it's going to be something, another weapon for us to use to try to reduce the number of these incidents, because many of the times that we hear about these tragic incidents, we learn that there were red flags out there, just like this type of red flag.
What weapon did he have on him in the bar?
I'm sorry, what?
What weapon did he have on him in the bar?
I don't believe he had a weapon on him in the bar.
Okay.
There was a belief that he did have the weapon on him from the person who called, but it appears that he then took the weapon and stashed it in his friend's car that he drove over with, and that's where the weapon was actually recovered from.
Where was his car was located at the bar?
His car, I believe, was located on Highview?
Yes.
Highview Avenue, at his estranged wife's house.
It was parked in front of his.
It's on the driveway, I believe. I wasn't at the scene. I defer to the chief on that.
So how did he get to the bar?
He was picked up by a friend.
So he was at the bar with a friend, left his vehicle at his estranged wife's house. You guys get called there, you don't find those weapons till you get back to the estranged wife's house.
No.
Yeah, one weapon was found in the friend's car, the loaded Glock handgun that was he was seen in possession of earlier, and the rest of the weapons were found in the defendant's personal car, which was parked at the estranged wife's house. Okay, thank everyone for coming. There will be a display downstairs of all the weapons and some of the other things that were collected. I appreciate everyone coming. Have a good day.